Welcome to the Broken Agenda podcast, sponsored by Laughing Rock Technology.
On the anti-American list, you compliment somebody.
They're gonna be like, "This guy's a little too positive. We got to shut this crap down." Like, he's saying great stuff about people all over the place. I don't know. The internet's made for minimizing people and making them feel terrible, not for building them up.
It's fake news.
It's fake news. Fake news.
Fake reviews.
Fake reviews. .news. Unbelievable.
Definitely a Chinese plant.
It is. Are we good to go?
We can be. Yeah, I'm rolling. So.
All right. Well, I think we already had our opening there. So, hey, everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome to the podcast. We took a week off last week, so today is what is the date? The 20th?
20th. Yes,
It's
sir.
October 20th, and today we are talking about space. Travel.
Billionaires in space.
Billionaires in space.
$1 billionaire.
I know I want to start off topic here, but first I do want to warn everybody. This is like a disclaimer, like a little asterisk at the bottom of the podcast. I do have an absolute man crush on Elon Musk. So you guys can go Richard Branson crazy all you want, or Blue Origin happy, or you can have a NASA high five party. I don't care. Elon's my boy. So there you go. It's been said. So there's definitely a slant, at
like
least in this chair.
That's been well established throughout the podcast history, so we're good.
Okay, fair enough.
I think you talk about him like Jimmy talked about crypto every episode.
Wait a minute, Jimmy likes crypto? Tell us more. No, don't get into crypto. We're not doing that.
I
this
didn't
episode.
say that word.
All right, so before we get into this,
Try and plant seeds.
Tyler has a question.
Yeah, what happened at Giuliano's?
It was another first. All right.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I am.
That's like the
I'm a little
third sign of a
flustered.
stroke. How's your left arm feel?
I think it's good.
Okay.
I'm gonna need it for a hook and an uppercut. You know.
Oh, dude, we're friends.
Yeah, I experienced my first ever in my entire life. Got kicked out of a restaurant because our food was late and we tried to cancel the order.
Like an hour and a half, right? Like an
Yeah.
hour and 15 minutes, an hour and a half?
I can't. I wanted to go back and look at the map, the Google map, and see how our time frame went. But I mean, we were sitting in the restaurant, me and another couple, and we got me and my buddy got a Sicilian pizza to switch, and then they got entrees. So we were sitting there. It was probably about 25 minutes. Our pizza came out, and it was a while. We were done eating. And
like 40 minutes, you said, something like that?
I mean, I had to, but I eat pretty quick. It was probably at least another 30 minutes. So it had been an hour because we were talking but my wife and his wife were trying to get their food. And this is like the third time they talked to the waitress. She said, that it was going to be out in a minute. And they're talking to us already about canceling it, just eating the rest of our pizza. And so they canceled it with the waitress, and she gave us the bill, and I paid it. And then the owner comes out like 2 minutes later, and he's like, I got your food. Or you want it? It was kind of real rude. We're like, no. My buddy says no. We canceled the order. Like we already canceled it. They're just gonna finish the pizza. And then my wife is like, well, it's cold pizza. And he's like, well, do you want me to heat it up? She's like, no. So I don't know. Then he goes back to the kitchen. Then he comes out and he starts screaming. He says,
he threw your to-go box at you first.
well, no.
Oh.
So he yells like very loud, makes a scene. The restaurant's packed. He wants us out. He needs the table. Says, if we're not going to eat, he wants the table. Well, we've already ordered dinner. We're sitting there, drinks half done. And then, so I'm like, well, I'm waiting for the pen so I can tip the waitress and the box for our to-go food. So he storms off, comes back, and then he like throws the box at my buddy and he says, I hope you have a horrible evening.
What?
Yeah.
So wait, so they do leave. And there's some more drama that goes on there, but they leave. They're outside. He starts screaming at Jimmy and his buddy in the parking lot. And they have an outside bar. So there's people out there like eating and having, he's screaming across the parking lot at them, right? So Jimmy comes back over to talk to him. Like, it's Jimmy. I've known a guy 2 decades. I've never heard him raise his voice once. So I guarantee he's not yelling. Comes back over to talk to him. And as he's telling the story, the guy's yelling more. The people at the bar take Jimmy's side. He kicks them out. So now he's kicking out more people. He kicks out the people at the bar. He kicks out Jimmy and his buddy. He kicks out their wives. And then he starts yelling slurs across the parking lot. He called your wife, what, a midget drunk bee?
Midget drunk. Yeah.
Yeah.
A midget drunk itch.
Yeah, I said the bee part.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
My
Gretchen's
wife
like the
didn't,
nicest lady.
and my wife didn't even have any. She didn't even have a drink
She
in the
was
restaurant.
drinking water. That's the
She had
best
a
part.
drink at. She had a drink before we left, or at our previous stop. And
You don't tell
came
that
in.
part. You tell the story. She's stone cold sober. There was no drinks involved.
She had one drink, no drinks at that place, and
Yeah, but she is a midget,
was
which now I find offensive. Like, oh wait, dwarf. What do they like to be called? I don't know. What's the right?
Munchkin.
No, I in a million years, I could not imagine being a business owner and flipping out on 2 couples. Like, it's not like a bunch of like drunk college kids or something that are like trashing the place. It's like 2 quiet, unassuming couples.
Like that's the point where you come out and apologize for the delay.
Yeah,
the
I
next
mean-
meal's on me.
You know,
We already
after
made it. Don't worry, it's on the house. I'm so sorry. Come back and see us sometime.
after he threw the box at my buddy said something. He got up and he left. And then as he's walking out, then the guy, he's like screaming, "Get out! I don't want your money!" Like, dude, you're like, you messed up our order.
Wait,
It wasn't even the waitress. He was running the kitchen.
But here's the best part, right? So they leave. Jimmy left his phone there. He had to call the cops and get the cops to come back and get his phone for him because the guy wouldn't give it to him. He's like yelling at him on the phone. He's like, maybe it's not your phone. And Jimmy's like, I just called it. You just answered it. He's like, good luck proving it. Jimmy's like, oh, come on,
Yeah,
man.
we wanted him to put it outside because we didn't want to go in the place, and he won. He said, "No, I'll put it in lost and found. Tell your buddy with the hat to come in and get it, and then we'll see if you can prove it's yours." Dude, it was such a foul escapade. Like, I mean, unbelievable.
So that's Juliana's in Sinking Spring, Pennsylvania.
Fritztown Road.
Whatever you want to do with that information. But yeah, that was a thing.
Don't cancel your. I say if you go there, don't cancel your order. if
For the
food doesn't
love
come
of
out.
Pete, do not cancel your order.
Yeah,
That's,
Or
gosh.
everybody go there and immediately cancel your order and then just walk out.
that's like cancel culture.
Exactly.
It is, yeah.
Like a cancel culture about canceling.
Yeah, maybe that's the problem. The cancel culture didn't take on. Didn't take in that place yet.
I'm too busy for the cancel culture. It's so much effort.
Place that's by the office, right?
Yeah, which really stinks because I love going to lunch there with clients.
I've
I mean,
never
their
been
food
there.
was good. I was sold on the food, but
They do make a good cheese steak. Well, now we're talking them up. You guys are killing me.
It's really not that good.
Slander.
that is
No, do not. We don't. Beep.
Yeah.
That's,
The experience was so horrendous. I mean, I just, never go there.
all right. So anyway, our topic today, that's just Jimmy's story of woe from Saturday. He invited me out on Saturday night, too, and I said no.
You did?
I'm super glad I said no. I don't like drama.
He could have partaken in that.
I'm not a big drama guy. It doesn't work for me. Space flight, specifically, I think we're talking about. I don't know anything about international space flight. I don't know what the EU is using for rockets. I obviously everybody knows about the Soyuz for Russia. I don't know what China's using for rockets.
I don't either.
I know India's got some multiple lift systems, but I don't know what they're using either. So we're kind of be keeping this to like U.S. based company, Virgin Galactic, NASA. Like is that true, or did anybody go off rails here?
I didn't go off rails.
All right, so we're going to be talking about space companies. We're going to be talking about their billionaire owners who love to fly up into space and have a contest going for some reason to get up there. And just kind of the future of space flight. Like, there's some cool stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
This is kind of the time of space flight that we all wanted it to be like 20 years ago. And it just kind of never got there. But now, I mean, I don't even think, do people pay attention anymore?
I would say I pay more attention now. Like I've always kind of paid attention to the NASA type stuff, but not as much as I am now that private companies are involved.
So this has drawn you in more.
I would think it's drawing me in more. Government has its holdups. Private companies, they're looking to make a profit somehow, so they're gonna innovate quicker and push the limits quicker.
Let me get your opinion. I want to get your opinion on this too. Who's your front runner? So we got all these companies involved. And wait, first, before we even say that, Is there beyond the three I'm going to say? Is there any others you want to talk about? SpaceX, Blue Origin, Virgin Galactic.
No, because I think they're the big three. There's certainly other companies, but I even think like what's the one they just closed up shop last year for good.
Well, then forget them.
Yeah,
They're out.
But that guy was all about UFOs. That was his big thing.
I do
It's
love
the guy who, what was it, Budget Hotels? That guy.
Oh, I do remember that. What was the name of his? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Budget space travel.
Yeah, you really don't want to go on budget space travel.
Yeah, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, they blow up.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just inexpensive.
Well, I did run. If there's ever an incentive to lose weight, I did run the calculation, see how much it would cost for me to get a seat on a SpaceX flight. And for a cool $1 million, I can actually go up, which is actually not that bad. I mean, all things considered, you can go to space for $1 million now. I think it was just like 10 years ago, where if you want to be a private person going to space, it was like $70 million.
Yeah.
So, still out of my price range. I don't have a million laying around to go to space, but I mean, I still got a few years in me.
Someday.
I bet it's coming down. So for those who don't know, let's go real quick into what these companies are. So if anybody's coming into this not knowing anything about the current state of spaceflight, NASA's still around and they're still doing good stuff. Actually, we're going to get into them talking about their Artemis missions to the moon and talking about their new launch, their SLS launch system, which is awesome. But NASA hasn't sent a manned space flight into space in 11 years, I think, 12 years, something like that. It's been over a decade, I think. But they do have a launch system that they're using for satellites, at least. Mm-hmm. But then there's SpaceX, which NASA does most of their stuff now through SpaceX.
Right.
SpaceX is primarily focusing on governmental travel back and forth, deliveries to the International Space Station, satellite deliveries, and they're pushing for moon landings and trips to Mars.
And more. Yep.
Yeah. Then there's Blue Origins, which is kind of trying to be SpaceX.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. But aren't they also kind of trying to be Virgin Galactic as well with the tourism?
Yeah, they are doing more tourism. That capsule they just set up.
Mm-hmm. With Shatner.
Yeah, it was clearly, and they'd sent one before that too, was clearly set up for tourists.
Yeah.
Like I think it's 100%. It even has open space so you can float around a little bit once you get up in a low Earth orbit.
Yeah.
So they're doing some different stuff. I don't know. They've had some problems, but I mean, I'll tell you what. Have you seen their new launch system?
I haven't. No.
We'll talk about it in more detail, but it's huge. I mean, it's a huge. And then Virgin Galactic, they just fly their space planes.
Yeah.
So that's it. Okay. So now,
I got a bunch of companies here. You know any of these?
lay it on me.
Boeing. They're doing
Never heard of
a
Boeing.
Vulcan rocket.
Yeah. Wait, the Falcon?
Vulcan.
Oh, Vulcan. Yeah, Vulcan is Boeing. I don't know.
Sierra Nevada Corporation.
Is Boeing ever going to pan out? I mean, they don't seem to be able to write software for rockets, build rockets.
And I believe they've had a contract with NASA for 20 plus years.
And they've delivered nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
So here.
How have they maintained that contract?
Because they're Boeing.
Fair enough. All right. What else? I didn't include Boeing because they haven't actually launched a vehicle that did anything yet.
Companies making little stuff like Lockheed Martin. They're making a solid, like a launch escape motor.
Well, Lockheed Martin makes a lot of components for both NASA and some of these other companies. Mm-hmm. So Lockheed Martin's awesome. They do cool stuff. But they're going to be mostly making components. They're going to be making engine components. They're going to be making release components, capsule components. I don't know that they're making independent rockets at all.
So a lot of these companies are just making, I think, pieces of the.
Well, and that's I think it's a big thing with like space is private industry has always been involved, but just from a contractor's perspective.
Yeah, well, definitely for NASA.
For NASA, yeah, exactly.
I know Russia's all government. The Soyuz program has always been completely 100% government run.
Yeah.
Sierra Nevada, SpaceX's cargo spacecraft called the Dragon.
I've read about the Dragon. Have they launched the Dragon yet?
Well, I don't know if they launch it. I guess it's Sierra Nevada's.
Because I didn't include anything that hasn't actually launched. There's a lot of concept companies out there right now.
Yeah.
A lot of companies that want to be in this space, see the future of it. But until you're launching rockets, I don't count you. I mean, I could say I'm going to build a rocket.
Say I have a space company too.
Yeah, do you?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it Tyler Galactic?
Yes. It's still in concept, but
Tyler
we'll get there
Galactic.
someday.
It's got a
Put him
nice-
on the list. Tyler
it's got a
Galactic.
nice ring to it.
It does actually have a nice ring to it. It works on many levels. Pretty sure that you wouldn't be able to fly up there, though.
Me?
The cost to launch you into space would bankrupt most nations.
Yeah, it absolutely would.
Do you know what an electron rocket is?
No, never heard of that one.
Rocket Lab, they build an electron rocket.
An electron rocket?
Yeah.
Wait, they fire one electron up?
I don't know. In 2020, launch providers,
You sure it's not like an ion engine or something like that for...
electron rockets, small satellites into space aboard electron rockets. So I guess they send up rockets with, which I guess that's kind of, I mean, I guess that's a start, right? They could eventually, if they can dump
If they're launching
satellites
them.
up there, then they can dump people with them.
Yeah.
If you want to just get up, so you can take a rocket and just get left off, you know,
Well, I mean, the
like a
big thing is,
taxi cab.
it
It just
depends-
drops you off, and then someone later comes back to pick you up.
It depends where you're going. I mean, the rocket that can get into low Earth orbit, like that was the problem with the space shuttle program. The space shuttle program was awesome, and people loved. Americans love to be revisionist historians. Like they love to look back and find all the reasons something was bad.
Mm-hmm.
But the true beauty of the space shuttle program was everybody said, "Well, we stopped going to the moon." There was really not a huge advantage to going to the moon. Right? It was an accomplishment. It was awesome, but there wasn't a lot we had to do there. It wasn't like laundry had to get done on the moon, so we had to get up there to fold socks.
Yeah.
Like the moon wasn't going anywhere, and we didn't have a specific use for it. What we did need at the time, in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, we had a massive need to develop our satellite infrastructure. The GPS was getting huge. Global communications was getting huge. The cell phone industry was getting huge. Entertainment was getting huge. We needed a robust satellite system in order to support all these new high-tech industries. And the space shuttle was phenomenal for that. It could only get to low Earth orbit. You know, so this thing's not going to the moon. It's not even getting crazy high altitudes. But it could get to the ISS. You know, it could drop off satellites. It could do delivery runs, and it was fully reusable. I mean, it was a great platform. It just, for people like me that are moon freaks, or people like me that think Mars is a goal that humanity should have, it never could get there. It was not on the agenda for the space shuttle. It could not happen. It didn't have the power. It didn't have the resources. It wasn't designed for it. So now it gets kind of a bad rap in hindsight. But I think the space shuttle was one of the greatest experiments we ever did. I mean, we basically made a rocket space plane and used it to ferry stuff nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like the space shuttle.
Yeah, space shuttle was cool. I'm glad it's gone, though, too. Because I think at this point, we're into a new chapter. Mm-hmm. And I think that space shuttle served its purpose.
Well, space shuttle is like you can fly up there and live there. It's kind of like a space condo. Like you can't want to hang out in a rocket. They're all like, it's not really an apartment.
How is the space shuttle an apartment?
Oh, it's bigger. It's roomy.
I don't know.
The space shuttle went up on rockets, and then the rockets fell away because they because they wanted to live in the condo.
Because they wanted the condo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Now we're gonna fly up in the rockets and be like, damn.
Well, but where will we live when we get up there without the condo?
But we'd be like this. You're like, hey, dude.
Yeah, so you're not going to live in that. That's ridiculous. I mean, that's like a New York City one bedroom. It's not good.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So we need to bring. You're saying we need to bring back the space condo.
Yeah, we need to like put some trailers together, fly them up, and drop them off, and we could,
Wait, isn't that what the International Space Station is?
That's what I
Can
thought
you
it was
live
supposed
in
to
there?
be.
Yeah, I guess you can live in there.
Yeah, they live in there all the time.
Yeah, there are people up there all the
Pretty
time.
cool to go up and stay in there.
Well,
They just shot a movie up there.
they got to. Yeah, they did that. You do know that has a serviceable lifespan. The ISS.
The ISS?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Do you know that? And I believe it's set to expire in like 2030.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
that'll be dead.
Well, it won't be dead. They set time frames on that. Like anything else. So, your car is going to last 100,000 miles. You got to replace your car after 100,000 miles. They did that to the ISS. They basically said, we anticipate that we're going to get, I forget, 22 years or whatever out of this thing. And then at the end of serviceable life, the cost to maintain it or do upgrades or repairs, whatever need to be done to keep this thing safe and operating and functioning properly would exceed the benefit that it provides. So we will trash it. And we don't think we're that far from that date. I think we're like 7 or 8 years away or something like that.
How do they plan to trash it?
They're going to dump it into the atmosphere and let it burn up.
So, okay.
Yeah. So they actually have simulation videos of what it will look like when it goes back
But
to reentry.
couldn't you use it for parts?
I mean, some of the components on that thing are decades old.
I feel like they could find someone to buy it.
Yeah, we could
I
sell
feel
it.
like they probably could find somebody to buy it.
Absolutely.
Maybe sell it to somebody in Jupiter's atmosphere.
You know, maybe that's what the budget rent-a-car or whatever should have done.
Yeah.
Forget making his own company.
That's what we need.
He should
We
buy
need-
used International Space Stations.
I want to buy used internet. I'd like the space station. They could ship it back down here, and I'll put that on a piece of land.
Leave it up there. Make it a hotel.
Oh, say turn it into a 4-star hotel.
Yeah.
Dining.
Put in an omnidirectional water fountain because and I don't know what else. Like
It seems like it could be a
an always
museum.
rotating donut. You know,
Human basketball court.
Couldn't it-
Bounce yourself in through the net. Look
get
at
into a
that.
ball.
Yep.
Yep.
Couldn't it at least be a museum that you
These are
could,
good ideas.
you could pop in and go look at it?
It's
Why burn it up?
nobody wants to go to a museum though. Like it's
The space
You gotta
station?
have like video
like you
games
got to
or
make it
something.
like space fun, not space Guggenheim.
Yeah, by the time we all go there just for fun, hey, we're going to space tomorrow.
Like
And
Yeah.
it'd be like, yeah, let's go to the space station and check it out.
Be like
the first
$40.
one.
You get a ticket, and it's like Amtrak.
space crabs.
And you don't go in there and live, you just take the tour, right?
How do you throw the dice?
I don't. That's the fun of it.
Boggle. Pop-o-matic bubble.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how you do it. It's dice may not work. This could be a problem.
I wonder if we get funding for this.
What's
We'll
that?
have to try to get funding for this.
I feel like if somebody watches this podcast, they'll just start shelling out money. Like, they're going to see the idea. Patent pending. I think you got to think. I don't know why it's not a space hotel. I mean, yeah, safety may not be there. I mean, technically, it's an expired space station.
Yeah,
But you put that in the fine print.
fine print.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'd make enough money to at
Stay
least
at your own
maintain
risk.
it well enough.
A million ways to die in space.
They do it
travel.
on-
So
they-
what if your component depressurizes? I mean, that's just one of a million.
I mean, they do it on medication, right? Take it at your own risk. You know, if you go there, you might lose
We would-
oxygen.
we would have
the
to have
doors
a-
might not work.
You'd
you
have to
might
have
get
like a
locked in.
Cialis disclaimer at the end of your space hotel commercial.
You had to sign like a 50-page contract for all the things that could go wrong.
Staying at Jimmy's budget hotel, space hotel, could induce vomiting. That's
I don't
known to
know.
lead to death.
Burning it up seems a little. That seems like a little crazy.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen any plans. They're not planning on replacing the ISS, are they?
I don't know. I haven't seen, but I think part of it is, aren't there private industry that's trying to make something to put up there?
No, all I have seen is that both NASA and SpaceX are both hell bent on a moon base.
Moon base, yeah.
Yeah, but a moon base is a totally
It's
different,
different,
thing.
yeah.
And that's I'm wondering why we're not seeing more talk about replacement for the ISS or some sort of plan to refresh the ISS, because there's a lot of zero G or microgravity experiments that are done there. There's a lot of science that's done there about living in space. You're not gonna be able to replicate that in the moon. I mean, the moon. I mean, it's got weak gravity, but it's still 1/6 gravity of the Earth. I mean, that's enough that it's not a viable test environment for zero G.
Yeah.
What do they build the space station with? Like, I think they use metal.
They
Like,
use
I mean, or
Yeah,
they
it's
use
stick built.
titanium, aluminum, carbon fiber. What kind of materials?
No, they use a lot of. It's not nearly as. I mean, so the walls are really thin. Because you got to remember, it's not pressure from the outside in; it's pressure from the inside out. So all you need is the materials on the inside and then a frame to support 1 G of pressure being pushed out. And you really don't need much material-wise. So they make these things. Some of these components are made out of like fabrics and like super lightweight aluminums.
Yeah.
There's not much to them. I mean, in some areas, there's a few centimeters of space between you and space.
And it probably doesn't rust in space, right? Things rust in space?
No, things do not rust in space.
Yes, I think you could take it. What if you could just land it on Mars?
You can't land a space.
Yeah, you.
He's
go
doing
up
that
there.
thing he did last week.
Hey, you go up
He's
there
doing
and
it-
you attach boosters to it, right? And then you
There's
ship
no
it off
steering
to Mars.
mechanism.
What's it going to land on? It doesn't have
I don't
landers.
know.
or
You
anything.
just take a chance.
Just
You're
crash
just
it
gonna
into
burn
the
it up.
You know what?
You're gonna burn it up anyway.
I don't see any way how you could possibly land it, but what I would love to see if we could get enough speed going to get it out of low Earth orbit, I would love to whip it at the moon. Just as fast as possible, right at the moon.
What if we send it into?
Not
the
even
sun?
for science, just for fun.
Just for fun.
Just like America's going to do you a favor, Earth. Like we're going to blow up a $200 billion space station for giggles. We're going to leave oxygen in the components so that maybe we'll get some fire too.
and make a movie out of it. Like,
It's-
you get to watch
It'd
it.
be a
you know,
real
if you
quick movie.
If you video it.
Oh, like an OmniMax
yeah,
documentary.
like you watch it as it's going in and doing the credits.
or break it up into all its different modules
Sense.
and throw the different modules at different planets. Be like, we're gonna throw the Japanese module at Venus. This one's going in the sun. Start whipping them out there.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
I
too.
think I could think of a million things to do with the space station rather than just let
They're just dumping it in the atmosphere. That just seems lazy.
it does.
You know, you won me over. I think we absolutely need to buy the International Space Station.
Awesome. We're done with that then.
So, all right, we'll do that. So we need funding. So if you're watching this, 10, 20 bucks, no amount's too small. Let us know. We'll get a page up on our website. All right, so we haven't even talked about Billionaires in Space yet,
No.
but I am still sad about the ISS because I think it's cool. But I am excited, though, about a moon base.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool.
You don't seem as excited as me.
No, I am. This is my even keel.
Oh, okay. I mean, are you excited about a moon base?
Moon base?
I kind of think it'd be cool to have a moon
Yeah,
base.
to go to the moon.
Well, no, the whole idea behind the moon base is there's not really anything to do on the moon. They don't even have Wi-Fi.
So boring.
It's so boring. It's just gray and weird. But the whole idea behind the moon is you take the SLS launch system, or you take the new spaceship. It's called Spaceship from SpaceX. You fly it to the moon, and then you have a launch platform at the moon, and you relaunch from the moon. So the idea is the gravity's so low on the moon, you don't have to use nearly as much energy to reach escape velocity for launches to Mars.
So you just have your layovers on the moon.
You know, lay over on the moon. So it's like basically it'll be space LAX.
Yeah.
So, or wait, where's always the layover? The layover's always in like Chicago.
In Charlotte or something.
Charlotte, yes, it'll be space Charlotte.
It's like a major. It could be a major junction. Right?
Well, no, once it's a major junction, then it becomes Atlanta, because that's a Southwest hub. They will tell you that regularly if you're in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I think that could be a good idea for the moon.
That's what they're doing.
Aren't
That's,
they-
I'm not too far off either.
Aren't they also pushing to go to Mars? At least SpaceX
Space. Well, we're talking 2030
for the moon.
for the Artemis mission from NASA.
NASA.
Is in the 2030s. I don't remember which year, but they're going to be going to Mars.
Okay.
So they're going to have the SLS launch vehicle that goes to the moon should start launching. I think it's done all of its test flights. I think it's all certified. I think it starts launching next year.
Oh.
And that thing's a monster. When it goes into service, it will be the largest rocket thrust-wise, from a power and a lift capability, the amount of stuff it can bring in that's ever been built that's in service. I think it'll have more thrust than the Saturn V did. That will get eclipsed by Blue Origin. I can't say that word today. Blue Origin's new rocket, which I forget what the name of it is. Doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Oh, the New Glenn. So
New Glenn?
the New Glenn is going to be even bigger. That thing's going to be a monster. And then when Spaceship comes out from SpaceX, apparently it is going to decimate all. Like, that thing is just going to be a juggernaut, and it'll just be ridiculous.
That might have been the one I was reading about today. It was SpaceX's.
Spaceship.
That's I think so.
Okay, what'd you read?
Well, it was comparing what Virgin Galactic had, Blue Origin had, and SpaceX, like their different ships and stuff that they owned.
Okay.
Is it SpaceX has Dragon?
No.
They don't have Dragon.
No, they have the Falcon.
Falcon. So yeah, and it was their other one. And I
They
was
have
going
the-
through like the
They have the Falcon Heavy 4, the Falcon Heavy
Okay.
Spaceship. I think that's all they're using right now.
yeah. And it caught my eye because going down the cruise it said like 7777, and then it said less than or equal to 100 for SpaceX's. I was like, well, this is kind of interesting.
Oh, well, yeah, because they have, well, there's some of the cool stuff SpaceX is doing is, I didn't realize this until I was doing research for this show, but the capsule what's the name of the capsule for SpaceX?
I
Is that
don't
the
know.
Dragon?
I was trying to find it. 'Cause
Hold on.
I can't find my comparison sheet.
That's the Dragon. I'm sorry, I gave you bad information. That is the Dragon. So the Dragon is the capsule component. It's not a rocket.
Yeah, it goes on top of the rocket.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's going to go on the Falcon Heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yes, that's what it was.
And on Spaceship. It doesn't go on Falcon 9. Falcon 9 is just for satellites.
Yeah. Falcon Heavy was the name of it.
Okay,
The
yeah.
booster or whatever.
And then the Dragon sits on top. The Dragon is actually the first capsule ever made designed to bring stuff back.
Yeah.
It can bring like 6,000 pounds worth of stuff back,
Mm-hmm.
which is awesome. Like, I don't know what you're bringing back.
But still.
I mean, every movie I've seen where somebody brings something back from space, it doesn't go great. So hopefully not that stuff, but you know, like hopefully good stuff. Like they find like sunshine or something.
Might come with some new beetle. You get some hitchhikers in there.
Well, like Ringo?
Yeah, I don't know.
Which beetle? I don't know. There's 4 of them.
Could be Ringo. Could be Oringo.
Paul's double.
That's just look. Hopefully they leave. What's her name? Lennon's wife.
Yoko Ono.
Yoko Ono. Leave her in space. Leave Yoko. I'm gonna buy that domain.
The
So-
Soyuz. What's that?
That's the Russian launch vehicle that's been operating since like the 60s, like literally the same rockets. It is the ugliest, dirtiest, best engineered thing I've ever seen in my life. I mean, that
Looks like a satellite.
it's been running. They've been launching the same rockets for 60 years.
Yeah.
They haven't changed a thing. I don't even think they changed the oil on them. Like they just keep running it.
going.
It was like me with my college car. And I've seen interviews with astronauts, and there was a guy who had gone up on the Soyuz who then went up on a Falcon Heavy through SpaceX. And when they came back and interviewed him, they're like, "So how does this compare to the Soyuz?" And he goes, "Going up in the Soyuz," and this isn't a quote, but basically said, "Going up in the Soyuz is like riding the comet at Coney Island. Your neck hurts when you're done. Your shoulders are killing you. The seats are too small. You get thrown all over the place, and you're in pain for a week." He goes, "Going up in the Falcon Heavy is like being in the back of a Mercedes luxury car while a team of people service you the entire time." He's like, "It is the smoothest thing ever." And I'm like, that sounds about right. So, have you seen the spacesuits that they use at SpaceX?
I feel like I have. They're like super sleek.
They're so awesome.
Yeah. I believe I've seen them. Was that part of that? Didn't they send people to ISS last year? Or
Yes.
Year before? I think when they were doing the tour of the cockpit, if that's what it's called.
Yeah, well, they've been doing lifts. I mean, if we go to the Falcon Heavy here, they've been doing lifts. They have been operating. I don't think people realize how long Falcon or SpaceX has been operating. So they've done 3 launches on the Falcon Heavy, which have all been manned. Now these have the reusable rockets.
Yeah.
So the Falcon Heavy has 3 of the booster base, the rocket bases, and these are the ones that land themselves.
Yeah, they come down and set themselves up.
It's so cool, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what kind of got me into all this, was watching their marketing videos of this stuff.
Well, and I write software, like limited. I hack software, right?
Yeah.
And I watched that thing. They had a landing they did in the ocean on a windy day.
Mm-hmm.
And they had like 10-foot swells on the ocean. So the landing pad is floating on the ocean, and it's doing this, right? And this thing came down, waited above the landing pad until just the right moment, and landed between swells in high wind on a wavy ocean.
Was there sensors on the pad?
All I kept thinking was, who wrote the software for that? Like, I can barely get a web page to work right. And I've been doing this for 20 years.
It must be like the same technology they use like in a fighter jet, right? It's like to lock on shots. I mean, it'd be the same thing, right?
Yeah, definitely a targeting.
You know?
Yeah, there's definitely a targeting system involved, but now you've got
probably
got
actually-
thrust, attitude control. I mean, you've basically got to have a real-time response AI, constantly monitoring a million different factors, while also watching the pad, while also maintaining altitude above it, while also making sure that you don't run out of fuel, because you have the least amount of fuel you're ever going to have is right before you land. And adjusting to a moving target in an atmosphere that's also moving. I mean, the amount of calculations that have to be going on simultaneously for that to happen successfully and repeatedly is mind-boggling.
It's a lot. I have no idea how many. It sounds like a lot.
At
though.
least 9.
See, I'm pretty sure if you go online, you can see like their test runs and how it failed horribly.
Oh yeah, when
before.
they blow up.
Yeah, like they just blow up and stuff.
I mean,
trying to land this thing.
It wouldn't be as cool as watching the ISS blow up against the moon, but it would still be cool.
It's a good second.
It's a solid second. Well, that's part of the reason they started landing them in the water. It's because they had a couple of mishaps.
Explosions.
They were like, well, worst case scenario, it just falls in the ocean. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
They've done 125 total launches on the Falcon 9.
That's solid.
So, I mean, that's a lot. I mean, that is a very proven launch system.
125.
120, it's been running for years. So that's the one that does satellites. So that's not a manned rocket. I don't think
What
they
is
have a
that in
capsule
the
for that.
scheme of things? How many times did the Wright brothers test their plane before
Once.
people would ride on it?
Wilbur got in and said, "Let's do this, brother."
Before people would ride on
That
it.
was back before they didn't know about safety.
What
first
is the
back then.
magic number for that before it becomes?
Like before it's an established.
Yeah, I wonder like where they're.
You got to get a couple dozen launches in your pocket before people are going to be like, "Yeah, this thing's rock solid."
Yeah.
Like,
Really? So 125, you're good with that?
I'm fine. If that thing has repeatedly succeeded 125, 85 landings, which means 80, which I think the last like 60, every single one has landed.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the beginning that they hadn't landed them all, and then they've reflown 67 of their rockets. So
does that mean they failed?
no.
80% of the time?
No.
on the
Total
landings?
landings means that the rocket came back down and landed.
So
on its own.
It only landed 85 times out of 120.
No. It's a multi-stage rocket. So the rocket goes up, and then once it depletes its fuel, it releases stage one. And that's the biggest part of the rocket. That's the part that has the oxygen, hydrogen, fuel mixture in it, and with the main engines in it, the main sequence engines. So once that's out of fuel, you don't want to drag that thing behind you or it becomes an anchor. So they release it, they dump it. Now, what this is saying is of those 125 launches, 85 times that rocket fell back down through the atmosphere, righted itself, slowed itself down, found its landing pad, and landed itself back on the pad, while the rest of the rocket kept going up.
So they were able to reuse those. Was that
67 times they have. So
is that the
67
thrusters or
times.
something? Is that what that is?
What's that?
The thrusters
That's the main rocket component.
and
at the
that's what
bottom.
they launched. They do the launch with.
Yeah, so they take a Brillo pad to it and put a little spit on it, and they throw the thing back out there,
Yeah.
refuel it, send it back up.
Nice.
And and that's the same base, that rocket they were using. It's the same thing they use in the Falcon Heavy. They just use 3 of them. So they just kind of, slap more mustard on there.
Huh. Does Virgin Galactic have stats on there? Have they done launches?
No, Virgin Galactic's website has like a hamster running around.
That's pretty sweet. They
Uh,
has all that.
Yeah, it is.
I think Virgin's purpose is very different than SpaceX.
They're
So
space
that's-
tourism.
They're completely space tourism.
Yeah, they're not bringing payloads up into space.
So
They're
what's he gonna work on? What's his? I mean, luxury.
It's basically just
He's
being able to.
he's still got to go up and land and.
And I don't
have
even
all
think
these
they technically go to space, right? They're on the outer edges of the atmosphere.
Yes, they're on the edge of space.
So it's like we're kind of
So
in
they're
that
just doing flights up to
It's
look
as
at
high
space.
as possible.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to experience weightlessness. You're going to or microgravity. You're going to
Yeah.
experience space. You're going to see the curvature of the Earth. You're going to see, but you're not taking a rocket up into deep space.
So you can verify that the Earth is not flat.
I can't. I'm not having this conversation. We've done this. I'm not
Through
doing this
Virgin
again.
Galactic.
I'm not doing this again. This conspiracy theory podcast is ripping us apart, Jimmy. Can't you see this? We have to stop.
Well, that'll be nice for the flat earthers to at least take a ride.
Well, I mean, here, check it out. I've got it. I mean, I wish we could share our screen here, but I've got Virgin Galactic up here, and they do have a. Here you go. This is Virgin Galactic right here. So they actually show a video right on their homepage. That's the plane.
Glider looking thing.
So it's not a rocket. So what they do is they take it up and it's a modified 747, isn't it? They take it up in a modified jet, and this thing hangs off its belly. And then there you go. That's not a 747. I don't know what that is, but whatever they're taking it up in, it's definitely modified.
Yeah.
So that thing flies up as high as a standard plane can get, and then drops it, and it fires its single engine. So it doesn't have like 9 engines like a SpaceX rocket. It's got one big rocket up its butt.
Yeah.
And then that thing just goes nuts. And all it is a plane. It's just got a bunch of seats, a bunch of people sitting in those seats. It does not achieve orbit. So it's not independent orbit. It's not circling the Earth over and over and over again like that. But then, it goes up. See?
You know where he's really going to be screwed?
Where's that?
Say they do bust through orbit and they float away. Boy, that would be a hell of an error, huh?
Eep.
You'd be like, uh-oh.
Just scratch the log. We never watched that one. What if the families ask?
What? They never showed up.
What are you
They have
talking about?
So then how do you go? Then they have to get a rescue mission to go, pull them back in.
They call SpaceX.
Yeah. Elon's like, 3rd time this week, man. I'll get them, Richard. It's like,
Dude, we did it again. Man.
get my heavy out.
I'm gonna start calling you Dick here soon.
We achieved orbit. What does that mean? We weren't supposed to achieve orbit.
Look at how they made it, though. It's nothing but windows.
Yeah, it's like a Cessna.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now you got to load this video on the.
Yeah, we got to put this video up
we
on the
can load that
podcast.
up, yeah.
But no, I mean, what Richard Branson's doing is cool. He's the only one that's just saying, I want to take people to space.
Let's just do this for fun.
Yeah, he's like, we're just going to go up and have some fun. I'm going to introduce, and his mission statement's different than, I mean, Elon's got big, like, global, you know, I want to change the world. I want to colonize Mars. Yeah, I want to be the guy that does that. And, and you know, Blue Origin's like, I want to be Elon Musk. You know, so they have big goals too. But Richard's like, I don't want any of that. I just want kids to believe they can go to space when they're adults.
Yeah, I think he's even stated that he's going to use his wealth to try to bring the cost down so more people can experience it.
Yeah, he's trying to. He's not trying to make them bigger, stronger, faster, better. He's trying to make them cheaper, so that people can actually do it. And then he's also, I think he's donated seats to like kids in need and with stuff like that, like charities, things like that.
Yep.
So
That's still high enough, huh?
Oh, it's high enough. Like he's a weird dude. I don't know if you ever seen an interview
Branson?
with him, Branson.
Yeah, I followed him for a long time.
So they're up high enough. They can actually they look as if they're away from the planet.
Oh yeah, no, they're in microgravity. They're feeling the love.
So how far is it before you actually see the planet as separate?
I mean the entire disk
Yeah,
with the mountains around the outside.
Yeah.
What is it, 80 miles is low Earth orbit?
Something like that,
Something like that. It's like 80 or 100 miles up.
That's just a weird concept in itself to think that you like flew out of the planet. Like, you know what I mean? Like, till you get to that point where you actually see it as if you left it.
What the guy who did the free jump?
I'm gonna put that on my bucket list.
Wasn't he at almost the same distances they're at?
Almost, yeah.
He was pretty close, and his view was pretty.
It
spacey.
was like space.
It was spacey, yeah.
Dude, that guy's got a pair of testicles the size of a Volvo.
Dude, I don't really get wound up for anything, and I was watching. I think my heart was racing.
You felt that too?
Man,
Holy
am I gonna watch
moly.
somebody die today?
Well, you know he doesn't die, and you still can't calm down watching
No.
it. There's a primordial fear that comes out when you watch that. It's nuts, and I'm not even scared of heights.
I was gonna say neither am I, but I would be pissing my pants at that height.
So I wonder
I mean,
how.
the nice part is, to make it easy for him, you have to jump.
Yeah, you don't have any. There's no going down.
There's second option. Like,
God damn, I can't back out now.
no, you're gonna wait for it to slowly come down. You're dead. Like you got to jump now. Go. What were you gonna say? Sorry.
Well, I just wonder how high you can go to jump before it's.
Well, you know what? Let's take a break, look that up, and let's answer it when we come back.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
The only one who has.
Blue Origin.
Oh, did they circle the Earth?
I don't know if they did, but they can.
I feel like SpaceX is the one who has the like true space tourism, where they go out and try to circle the moon, a 3-day tour.
Yeah, but they haven't done it yet.
They haven't done it yet, but that's their plan.
Yeah, that's gonna be not until Spaceship comes out.
Yeah,
Are we back?
we can be. Yeah.
All right, we're back. Yeah, when Spaceship comes out, they already sold those tickets too. I think the first people to do it, there's gonna be a Japanese guy.
Yeah.
Was the first ticket sold?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and he's gonna go up. I don't remember what he paid, but I know it was a lot more than I have.
It's like him and 12 friends or something. I think is what I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're gonna go up, and it's like a 4-day trip or something like that.
Yeah, I think I read it was 3 days because they're going to go into low Earth orbit, the same as what you would do to go to the ISS. Or no, that mission is specifically to go around the moon.
Yeah, they're gonna circle the moon and come back. They're gonna do the same path basically that Apollo took.
Yes.
Yeah, they're gonna fly up, go around the moon, come back, basically make a big infinity sign.
Yeah.
How awesome would that be?
So here I got all the specs on the space station.
I mean, and how great! Just hear me out. I know this is gonna sound dark, and I apologize, but how great would it be if they got space sickness and they lost it up there?
Started eating each other.
Whoa!
I mean, come on.
Maybe. Like, I don't know. I just, some space drama. Like Space Naked and Afraid.
It would absolutely be televised.
It would be, well, you know they're going to have cameras on that thing.
Yeah.
Cut the feed!
They'll just start I lost the word. Like,
Jumping,
oh man.
rolling, 11, triangle,
Jeez, such an easy word.
titmouse. happy?
Like hallucinating.
Hallucinating. As I was way off.
Yeah.
It wasn't even close to titmouse. That's on me. That's on me.
Space station is 240 feet by 350.
That thing's a juggernaut, man. That thing's pretty big. All right, so back to the original question I posed an hour and 75 minutes ago. Who do you like out of these companies? And we're going to leave Russia off the table because I don't even think Russia cares anymore. And I think China's probably doing cool stuff, but they ain't talking. So of the ones we're talking about, who do you like?
I mean, it depends on what kind of context. I'd say SpaceX is going to be the most innovative. They're going to push the boundaries the most. I like Virgin Galactic just because they're going to try to make it as reachable for most people as possible. The space tourism side of it. I don't like Blue Origin.
I don't either.
They're just trying to be the Amazon of space. Like, we do this and
Well, what's
that
their
and this.
objective exactly?
Blue Origin, they want to be SpaceX.
But they also want to give you a
Virgin
tour.
Galactic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can't have one guy own space, right? SpaceX can't be the only guy.
Well, I mean,
only game in town.
NASA's still in the game. And when the
NASA's
SLS comes out, that thing's going to be amazing.
And they're essentially the governing body of space travel for the U.S.
Yeah. So NASA's not a government agency per se.
Right.
It's more of like a public-private partnership type thing.
Yeah.
But it does get the majority of its funding from the government.
Then they have like 51% of control of who flies.
And it does have oversight, and it does have
Yeah.
heavy regulation.
I have an idea for a new space venture.
Lay it on me.
I'm going to create a company that's going to fly fencing to space, and I'm going to put fence all over the moon and claim my stakes.
You know what we should do?
And then we'll sell the land when the first moon comes.
So you're going to try to buy up the moon while it's cheap?
No, we're just going to go stake land like they did in the West. You just got to get out. You just got to get up there and stake
Gotta
it
get there
off
first.
and then you
Yeah.
can sell it when they all come.
What if I don't want to go myself and stake land? Because I want to go to the moon, but I don't want to go there to work. I kind of want to go there to like play on the beach and build like moon sandcastles. So what if I sent like a robot to stake land for me? Would
A
that
proxy.
still count? Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah. What
I'm
if we
not
did
so
this?
sure.
Here's another idea. What if instead of paying Elon a buttload of money to fly around the moon, what if we paid Elon to take GoPros up? Right? Hear me out. Hold on. There's a thing here. You get your own GoPro. You rent the GoPro, and it live feed connects with a recording device back to your virtual reality goggles. And then you sit your fat ass in your family room chair, and you go to space in virtual reality through your GoPro, and there's one dude in there, and he's just like spinning the GoPros. And then you feel like you're in space, but it only costs like $1,000.
Yeah, the
I
metaverse.
feel like they can do that.
There's
already.
What if we just send one GoPro and tell everybody they have a different
A
one?
different one. That's exactly what would happen.
there's actually a game, a metaverse coming called Mars, I think, where you can go and buy plots on Mars. And I'm just wondering how that might transfer into the real land on Mars.
So it's like naming a star.
Well, you go and you buy plots of land, and then the metaverse is going to grow. And I kind of feel like that's how we're going to claim land on planets.
Well, by international treaty right now, I believe, I think all space land is off limits for governments. Isn't that true?
Yeah, I think so.
It's kind of like Antarctica.
Yeah.
You can't own it. It's
It's all of ours.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure China will ignore that when it's convenient for them, and they'll be like, "Our moon," and then you can't go. But I mean, for now, technically, you can't do that.
You should check out this Mars metaverse.
I think I will check out the Mars metaverse. But what do you do with the land once you stake it?
Well,
I mean, you're not growing crops. Like,
Well, it's a metaverse. So in the metaverse, you can go in, you can build on your land. It's like a game.
okay,
You can play the game, build property, and then your property value increases. I mean, you got to buy the land for
So
real.
it's Second Life,
You got to buy it with ETH. Same,
but on Mars.
similar.
so it's
Yeah.
basically SimCity,
Yeah, SimCity. So
but redder.
There's all kinds of
how
different
would that
metaverses
translate
coming.
to the real world?
Put it in Mars and check it out.
That's I'm literally
he's
looking
doing
up.
it.
Yeah.
I don't run the tech.
I don't know. I don't know, man.
I'm just here to
This is-
pretty up the joint.
I'm just bringing the news to the table. I don't know
Does the
how they're
developer
gonna-
have like claims to Mars? Like they're like, that's mine, and I'm gonna sell it digitally.
I haven't.
Metaverse project. It's a game platform.
It's okay. So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think anything like that is cool. So okay. So it's using like Mars type construction projects. Like all right. So it's assuming you're on Mars. Okay, I got you. I see what's going on here. So you could build like a Mars greenhouse to grow plants in. Okay, I see what's up. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I'd play that.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably.
If you look at the globe, there's one
I would
thing
try
where
it.
you look at the globe and it shows you how all of Mars is broken up into the land plots. There's a page on there that should do that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, one of these billionaires will just buy all
I
the
just
plots.
wonder if
I was
there's
to
a
say, first one there owns it all.
Yeah, it's
They're just going to charge us for
I'm
it anyways.
starting to wonder if there's a connection between Mars and Mars video game.
well, I mean, the Mars disk is hard to get to, so
The disc.
yeah, hanging out all flat up there.
Yeah.
That's the flat Mars theory.
And then what if you go to Mars and it's sideways and then you try to step on it, you just fall right off?
Or you just shoot right past it because it's sideways. You just time it wrong.
I don't know. I'm just going to the movie studio where it's all
It's
shot
flat.
at. So
Oh,
I'll
you
get
know,
there
with that
first.
conspiracy theory.
Or if it's on if it's
when
on
you can
an
see the
angle,
Coke bottle cap,
Yeah.
like down by the the shoe print. Yeah,
if it's on an angle, you could get on it and just slide off.
yeah, that would be unfortunate. You go all that way just to
Yeah.
slide right off.
Yeah.
That's it's gotta irritate you. You sell them the sizzle.
And
on
you'd be
this
like
theory.
sliding for like a year.
I'm engaging with you only because I don't know what to say to you anymore. You have beaten me. You have won, sir. No, what I will say though is, I mean, all right. So, a couple of things. Do you guys think we're getting to the moon again this decade?
I wouldn't see why not, but is anyone really going to want to get there other than for moon base?
Well, I mean, I know that both NASA and SpaceX want to get there to build launch facilities for Mars. So that would be the purpose of getting there. I guess the real question is, I mean, yeah, if you think they'll get there, that's one thing. And then do you think they'll use it for anything other than a launch? I mean, if they're already going to send people around the moon,
Yeah, they're gonna eventually land there. Be like, take a walk.
spend a night at Hotel Moonifornia.
Yeah,
I
dark
mean,
side of the moon.
You're saying this year?
Decade.
Oh, this decade. I don't know. I wouldn't see why not.
You know, there's actually no.
I
such
mean,
thing
we're
as dark
flying
side of the moon.
rockets and
There's
relanding
no-
them now.
Mm-mm.
We've had more.
Pink Floyd told me there was.
They're, yeah, they do say that. But no, when it's a new moon facing you, the entire backside of the moon is lit.
I can't see it. I don't believe it.
You know what? I can't talk to you people. Unbelievable.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
Nothing. Forget it.
So
Try to have an intelligent conversation
now that like
with you monkeys.
now that private enterprises are involved, I think it's going to excel like extremely fast.
I mean, do you think it's going to minimize NASA?
I don't even know that. I think NASA's just what's NASA's. Why would NASA even continue?
Well, NASA does a lot of the exploration stuff, like with the rovers and stuff in Mars.
And the James Webb Space Telescope, obviously Hubble, which has been up there forever, but still
Yeah.
relevant. I mean, so a lot of that stuff. I don't think you're going to see SpaceX, maybe like on a limited level, but you're not going to see them investing in satellites purely for research purposes.
Yeah, and you're not going to see SpaceX send something to Mars if somebody hasn't already sent something there, like NASA, like a
Yeah.
rover. Just waste of what?
Why
Couple
would
$1 million.
why would the NAT? I mean, it would be silly for
They
it
did
to.
send a car to Mars. So
Yeah.
what's that?
I guess it would be silly for NASA to stop, but I mean, what's the point? What's the point of NASA once
Well, I mean, I would say the point of NASA would be it
once
gets to
business
become
starts?
truly a scientific agency.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if they no longer have to worry about running maintenance, they don't have to worry about ferrying people up and back. If they don't have to worry about servicing the space station, if they don't have to worry about taking care of.
Well, that's what I mean. I kind of think like, what would be the point of them to continue now that private corporations are entering the space? It
Well,
seems like
When Obama shut down the shuttle program, and Bush had authorized a replacement for the shuttle program. He shut down both. He shut down the shuttle program and shut down Bush's program, and people went nuts because they were like, "What? The United States doesn't go to space anymore? What the heck?" The thought process there was just use SpaceX, and not SpaceX specifically, but use private industry
Yep.
and stop sending rockets as a government agency. Like, why do we need to? We've got companies that can do this. We'll build the satellites, we'll build the rovers, we'll build the scientific equipment, and we'll just give it to SpaceX and leave some space on their rocket and set it up. So when we've kind of walked back on that, now one of the reasons why NASA should still exist is because Star Wars is still a thing. Yeah. So I could theoretically see NASA splitting off and NASA, the scientific part of NASA, remaining NASA, and the parts that are Air Force run, like the Jet Propulsion Laboratory and some of the other places that are more, from the Air Force, being rolled into Space Force.
Oh, yeah, it would make more sense.
And they keep launching their own rockets because you don't want to have a military presence in space where you have to rely on somebody else to launch your military assets.
Yeah.
That I could see.
Or NASA turns into like the space government, the governing body of space.
I 100% guarantee you that China would not go for that.
No,
like,
not at all.
We got to check with NASA before we do something? I don't think so, Scooter. Like, they're not going to play. And the EU is not too super sweet on us right now either. So I don't know if that's going to fly. India might say yes. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. But I was super proud of the Indians for sending up a rocket.
That was pretty recent, wasn't it?
It was pretty recent.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that they had come along that far in their space program. And it went pretty well, too. They did a good job.
I've been paying attention to the hypersonic missile that China just launched.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was concerning, but...
Yeah. I mean, totally off topic, but at some point people will wake up to the fact that China is just pure evil.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what it's going to take to get there, but I mean, hopefully we're closer now with hypersonic missiles flying around the Earth. I don't know, but unless you guys disagree, I don't know.
No, I'm with you.
Okay. All right, so I know we're wrapping this thing up. We're in our final 10 minutes, I think. So let's get into final thoughts here. So we didn't even talk about the main thing we wanted to talk about. Why are the billionaires going up?
Because they can.
Is that why?
I think that's all it is.
It seems like they're all competing. Like, one goes up and they're all like, well, I'm going up too.
It's essentially three nerds, right, who got a lot of money. And we're like, I've always wanted to go there, so I'm going to. And I'm not saying that in a derogatory fashion. It's just they're the most likely ones to do it.
If I owned a rocket, I'd use it.
It's
Exactly.
It's not probably that inexpensive. Would you price it to be $1 million? Is what you said?
$1 million to go up on SpaceX.
Yeah.
Is really not in the grand scheme of things.
That's like $10 to some people.
Unfortunately, you're right.
To others.
Yeah.
I mean,
and neither of them are sitting on wealth that's stopped flowing in. I mean,
yeah.
It's continually
Someone
flowing in for
that's
them.
got $1 million to do that, it's because they probably make that passively and doesn't even.
I feel fairly confident that Elon Musk's trip to space would be very different than mine for $1 million. Like, I don't know, call me crazy, but I feel like the food would be better.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
There'd probably be butlers.
You'll get
space butlers.
The half-old sandwich wrapped
Probably be
in
a pile of
saran wrap.
probably be a pile of cooler people too.
There would probably be. I mean, I'd be going up with you two.
You'd be there with a bunch of misfits. You'd probably get kicked out.
They'd send us up on the second
Yeah.
rocket. It's kind of like jaggedy and kind of like it squeaks a little too much. Nobody's super confident, but it's cheaper. It's owned by the guy from Budget.
We'd probably get kicked out of the shuttle on the way up. That would suck.
You would.
Yeah, you would.
Because
You're that guy.
You'd try to send your space ice cream back.
They'd throw you into the pod, the escape pod.
They'd give you a discount
Drop
for your
you
midget
back.
wife, though. She's only half a person.
Drop you back to Earth. That'd be a bummer, huh? Get kicked out.
That would be halfway up.
Yeah.
And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he spent the money to put ejector seats in. It just seems like the type of crazy bastard thing that Elon Musk would do.
Yeah.
There's a lever he can pull,
Yeah.
and you go shooting out the side.
Yeah. Right into a pod and just. And then worse, it'd take like 2 days to float down.
And then nobody picks you up.
Yeah.
So you're just floating in the ocean. You're like, well, this stinks.
No, you'd land on one of those things. You'd land nice, right?
Oh, yeah, I
And
guess
then
you
you'd
would.
just be sitting there.
He's not putting that tech in the kick-out bucket.
Yeah,
like
no.
It'd be like a magnet. You'd be stuck to it. You won't,
Yeah, no, it would be like firing you out in like a 1972 Vespa.
Or in the middle of Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
The only thing in there is an AM/FM radio.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, it's He's not giving you all the sweet tech.
Yeah, I could,
That's for the people that don't get kicked out. The people that actually eat their dinner.
that could be disappointing.
It would be disappointing. This is not how I saw this trip going.
Yeah.
We've all had bad vacations. It'd be a story to tell. You can go on Facebook.
All right, what did we miss?
I if you guys could, would you go up?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't even think about it.
Amen to that.
Yeah.
My wife says no.
I'd go. That'd be fun.
I'd make the phone call. Hey, I'm going to go to space. I'll be back.
Yeah, but you got to make it while you're in the capsule already strapped in, so that you can't say no.
on my way to space. I'll be right back.
Be out of cell range in 3, 2, 1. No, that would be awesome. So
Yeah.
I really hope it's. I love Elon, but I'm rooting for Richard. Because I would love to see, and I think if you could get it down to like $10,000 for a ticket, $20,000 for a ticket,
That'd be
people
crazy.
would pay that. Even
Yeah.
even if it strapped them, they would save for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
I would think that seems very far away.
I think that seems very far away.
I'm thinking
too.
like 50, 100 grand. I mean,
even at 50 to 100 grand.
that would probably be like the affordable.
I mean, that's even pretty close. I was looking at numbers. They're saying anywhere between $250 and $450 for a seat right now,
right now,
currently.
Yeah.
and you know that's
So,
going to come down.
and you know it's coming down. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where he needs to shave money. I mean, there's hard costs in there that you can't avoid, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's not. Did we look up how long a Virgin Galactic flight even is?
No, I know. I'll pull one up quick.
I mean, it also depends.
What
Like,
kind
if
of
you're,
fuel? What kind of fuel is his? What system is his system use? Is it-
doesn't he use solid fuel?
That's what I thought I had read.
Yeah, I think he's
before.
different from the large launch vehicles that use like oxygen hydrogen mixtures. I think he uses solid fuel.
2 to 3 hours.
All right, so 2 to 3 hours. So this isn't even.
$250,000.
All right, so now
2 to 3 hours. That's all it takes to get up.
It probably
What-
doesn't take you very long to get up
no, probably 2 to 3 hours in space.
in space.
Get up.
Yeah. So
Oh,
you're just
okay.
hanging out for 2 to 3 hours
That's
and
what
you're
I'm
coming
saying.
back.
So it's probably a
It's not
one-day
Get
window.
up, hang out, get back down. The whole round trip, 2 to 3 hours, or the experience in space.
Oh, maybe it is the
It's
entire
like a
trip.
half
From
day.
the time you take off.
That
to the
seems
time you-
It
ridiculous.
could be. Yeah.
Could be.
Wow. Go
For-
up
for
there, the whole thing,
$400,000.
2-3 hours. That
But you figure
sucks.
it's
You ought to
still
at least-
kind of in beta too, right?
Yeah, I guess.
So they're probably not pushing the limits
Man,
too hard.
that's fast.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
2-3 hours.
that's a money burn right there.
Jeez.
I will say though, I have looked it up. I thought about taking my daughter on the Vomit Comet. Are you familiar with this thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's I think that is also a modified Boeing 747.
It is. Yeah.
And what they do is they took all the seats out and they emptied the entire fuselage, padded the whole thing, and they fly in repeating parabolic arcs. So you go up and you feel a ton of G-forces going up, and then they fly down. And while they're dropping out of the sky, you're weightless. You have the effects of weightlessness. So you're floating around, it's just like being in space. You can drink water out of a bubble in the air, all that stuff. They call it the Vomit Comet because a lot of people throw up because it's very
Well, yeah, that's
disconcerting.
yeah.
But $5,000 a ticket. I looked it up because I was like,
The
5,000.
vomit comment.
and
for
I was
$5
like, I
grand?
know my wife won't do it because she doesn't do anything cool. But my daughter totally would, and I was like, for $10,000,
Imagine if you're.
I'd consider it.
Imagine if you're throwing up, and you're just like,
I wouldn't throw up. I'm awesome.
and then you're with a bunch of people.
No, unawesome people throw up. This guy doesn't do that.
Yeah, but then it's like flying around everywhere. Like, and then next thing you know, it's like
No, I'd be more upset if I threw
it's
up.
like
I'd be
Stand
fine.
By Me, at the
Oh yeah, like the pie eating contest.
pie eating
Just
contest.
purple flying out of everybody's mouth. I'd be more upset if I wasn't sick and somebody else threw up, and now the whole plane smells like vomit and there's vomit floating around.
Yeah.
I'd be like, dude, you ruined it for everybody. Like,
And then you're like going,
and it vomited. Yeah,
Flies
to get it
in
in my. I had my mouth open,
flies in your mouth.
right in your mouth. Yeah, that would be what would
And
upset
then you
me.
get that Bernie vomit taste, and it's not even yours.
Is it
Did you
still
eat
Bernie vomit
avocado?
taste when it's somebody
I'm not
Did
sure.
you eat avocado?
a little heavy on the mustard? Yeah,
It's still going to be stomach acid.
it's.
Jesus. That's a horrible thought.
Man, you've just ruined that whole trip.
Well, now I don't want to go. Come on, man.
Well, it's called the vomit comet.
You
What do
ruined space for me.
I mean, I'm trying to
Fake
get
space.
into the mode of the vomit comet. They
Well,
put everybody in their own little compartment.
You got to pick the weak ones out, and you got to sit away from them. Like, if you see a big Italian dude with chains on, he's probably gonna throw up. 'Cause they're always tough until you get to that type of situation and throw up everywhere. So
Five grand though. That's reasonable.
it's right. It's not that bad. It's value. I think that flies over like Arizona or something.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, like you're like bored in Phoenix, and then it's a long. You get quite a few. I think it's like 5 or 6 shots of being weightless. So I got to imagine, being a pilot for the most part, a commercial pilot is probably a pretty boring job, but flying that plane would probably be kind of fun.
That would be kind of fun.
Because there's nothing boring about it. Like every 15 minutes, you're about ready to die. Like,
That would be nuts.
that would be nuts. No, but I would love to take her on that. I think that would be really cool. I think she would love it. So it'd be the type of story you'd tell people, and they'd be like, they wouldn't believe you.
Yeah, you're bullshitting me.
Be like, you're right. You were at Disney like the rest of us. So, all right. So, final thoughts, gentlemen. What do we want to talk about? Is there anything we missed?
I don't think so.
I mean, I'm sure there's a ton we missed.
Now, here's the other thing. Would you do the moon flyby? That's like 4 or 5 days in space.
I'd have to do the Virgin Galactic style first to decide if I want to push further.
Oh, so Moneybags over here is like doing test flights.
Yeah, I mean, I got a test fly. I'd be like, if I'm satisfied, then I'm good. And, I mean, it'd be cool to go around the moon, but
I can see that. What about you? Would you do that?
I'd just do it.
You would just
Why would you think about it?
just say yes. Why say no when it feels
All you're
so
gonna
good
do
to
is
say yes?
I mean, all you do is ponder, and then like all you could possibly do is talk yourself out of it.
So the problem is the dude from Japan is doing it right. He's bringing a bunch of people he knows.
yeah.
Like, could you imagine being stuck in a spaceship, like a small spaceship, with 11 other people you've never met before?
And
Like,
sharing that moment.
and then finding out that you hate them all. And you're stuck in a tube with them with like millions of miles between you and land. Like that would,
I guess I'd like, what's the itinerary? Do you have to sit like in the seat? Like, is it a condo or is it a chair?
dude, you want a space condo so bad.
Yeah, I want to get out and roll around and look at stuff.
I don't know. I kind of want to. That's a good question.
Look
though.
out the windows.
Like,
Like,
I guarantee you can move
I mean,
around.
send you in a box and you're just like,
Well-
I don't know. I guess once, how does that even feel once your weightlessness? Like, does it even matter?
Well, I don't think
I
you'd
mean,
be
you don't
weightless
even
the
feel
whole
like
time.
you're sitting anymore.
It'd
once
probably be
you're
just
up.
like a space flight, right? Turn on artificial gravity.
Yeah.
You chill out, just have views of
Drinks.
space.
Artificial
Sit up
gravity.
there.
What would be
Oh,
the
and then
point?
are they going to let you drink some, take some beers with?
I don't think they're going to let you drink alcohol
No.
in the midst of a deep space flight.
Yeah,
That does
probably
not
not.
seem like a wise decision.
That seems
I think
hard.
that would be the biggest challenge, is staying
They'd have-
sober for 4 days.
They'd have to have at least a 6-pack.
I mean, of course, they'll send a 6-pack up. I mean, you've got to
You
be able
have
to
to
celebrate.
sit up there and cheers from the moon. I mean, you can't. I guess
Jimmy's
you
going to pull out mini champagne bottles. He'll breach the hole, popping a cork. Be like, that was not a well thought up.
Only if they're in a clear plastic baggie as you go through security.
There you go.
You're probably not allowed to have glass on the moon. Around the moon.
I'm pretty sure you're not allowed to take your stuff. Like, I'm 100% sure they're going to give you the stuff you're going to take up with you. Like, it's not like you don't get to bring a suitcase.
Yeah, I'd just do it. I wouldn't ask questions.
Jimmy'd get space sickness. Just one person would come back and be Jimmy.
I don't get seasick, so I think I'd be all right in space.
Yeah, but this is a little bit different, I think.
Space sickness is where you go crazy.
Yeah.
It's where you lose your mind and start eating people.
The vomiting just comes with the territory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you vomit, you're going to get space sickness. Guaranteed.
Well, I guess I'll get space sick.
Just eat some people.
I'm still gonna go.
All
You're
right.
not gonna talk me out of it.
Not going to talk me out of it. If I got to kill some people, I'll kill them.
If I gotta eat you, I'll eat you, man.
Well, you're going to eat me. I'm mostly Gristle. You'll pick somebody better. There's more delicious humans out there. All right, everybody. I think, as you can tell, we didn't even have an agenda for this one. So we should call this the non-agenda. So instead of the broken agenda. So I apologize. It was a little disjointed, but I think it was a good conversation.
I think so, yeah.
So thank you, Jimmy. As always, thank you, Tyler. Everybody, I am Craig, and we are out. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
The Broken Agenda Podcast. Sponsored by Laughing Rock Technology.